All right, what if we're getting it backwards on raising the minimum wage to 15 bucks an hour? It is outlandish for a lot of folks who are hard pressed to afford that for their workers. But doubling it for the federal government now at around 7.25 and bringing it to 15 bucks, that's a whole nother can of worms, right? But look at this. What if it saves on welfare and related programs to the tune, according to a new study, upwards of $30 billion? Does it essentially pay for itself? Of course, that begs the question for the pizza shop owner and everything, is he or she getting that money back themselves, or is it the government saving money there? Back with us, Scott Martin, Jackie D'Angelo. Scott, I guess the view is this could lessen the need of people impacted favorably by this to depend on the government to sort of make up for that wage gap. What do you think?
Potentially, Neil, if they don't lose their job in the process. I guess you could call me a free marketeer, but I believe that if you stay out of the way of business, if you let them choose the wages they pay, lower regulations, we get more growth. And when you get growth, you get the general levity in wages. So you don't have to force businesses to all of a sudden add a few dollars here and a few dollars there to make a minimum wage. So yes, if the jobs stay there and they get the minimum wage, yes, that could possibly help. But as we've seen from many businesses' comments, they're going to be cutting jobs if the minimum wage goes up too much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the boss at a store or company, a restaurant will be happy to hear that the government saves a lot on benefits and their workers don't have to depend on those benefits. But the fact of the matter is that isn't helping their bottom line, the guys who employ everyone, right? Jackie?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of concern that it'll just be too much. You know, we were talking about Amazon, for example, a little bit earlier. Could a company like that afford to pay the $15 minimum wage? Possibly it could without, really facing too much harm. But you've got a lot of small and medium-sized businesses as well that would have to commit to paying that kind of minimum wage. And they certainly wouldn't be able to stay in business, or they would have to lay off workers, maybe downsize perhaps. And when you look across the country at some of the places where they've tried this, for example, in California and New York. I know we're in pandemic times, so that's exacerbating everything a little bit, but these also happen to be very high tax states. And so you've seen businesses already want to flee, not just because of wage issues there, but because of the tax issues as well. They sort of go hand in hand. I mean, there's only so much you can keep squeezing a business and its profit before, these business owners say enough is enough. And as I said, not every business is Amazon.
Scott, the one thing I don't understand is if Wall Street's worried about this likelihood that this $15 wage will be included in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, they have a funny way of showing it. Or do they just assume, you think, that it won't be in there, that the final package will be a little bit smaller and won't have this component?
I think they hope that it won't, Neil, but they're maybe bracing for it behind the scenes. I think another thing that's going on, though, with all the stimulus is now we're on countless trillions, really. So the market has loved that. So I think the market is signing itself up for more, say, stimulus, more spending than it is so much a minimum wage hike increase.
I'm also looking at where the money goes. And the argument has always been, Jack, and you reported this, that with interest rates still low, although backing up a little bit here, it's not as if people are going to abandon this market for 0.5% CD. But as rates do slowly back up, and a 10-year now at about 1.13 and a 30-year closing in on 2%, there is going to come a point in time where they will have a chance to weigh safe money, albeit low rates, than risky money in a toppy market, right?
Oh, I agree with you. And ultimately, it's been the saver, for example, that has been crushed over the course of the last decade or even longer with these low interest rates, Neil. And we saw that under President Trump. Slowly but surely, the economy, the fundamentals pre-pandemic started to rebound enough where the Fed chair said, OK, we can start to raise rates a little bit. And you could see that this is a market, an economy to a certain extent that has been sort of addicted to low rates. And that was not good for the stock market. it, and the president at that time started tweeting. And what did we see? We saw that interest rates came down, and we're staying this course. So it could be one thing to see those rates start to creep up again, but when they do and the chilling effect comes, nobody seems to like it. The question is going to be who has, enough chutzpah to basically pull the plug as things do get better and say, no, rates have to go up. I mean, that's, we'll have to see what happens with that. But as of right now, when you look at the yield on the 10-year note there at 1.12, yeah, people are still going to invest in stocks.
All right, Jackie, in the meantime, I guess we'll just be on chutzpah alert. But I love that. That's great. Scott Martin, thank you very much. Is Charlie Gasparino ready, guys?